fireside chat. Dirk, have you prepared anything? No. Okay, so me neither. That will be interesting. For those of you who haven't been to all Android talks, dear speakers, I'm speaking right now. Please be a bit more quiet. So the guy on the left is Ben. He gave the talk this morning about what's new in Android. Then we have Sebastiano. I'm not repeating all the talks because we are probably not talking about their talks, so just introducing the speakers. We have Daniele, we have Matthias, we have Johannes and Danny, who you just saw. So, Dirk, did you find another microphone? Okay, so just pass it along. I guess we start with what's your favorite new feature in Android Lollipop, and why?
Wait, we just had a question. Where's Melinda?
She had to go early, so sorry. Yeah, that's probably why so many people left. Yeah, they were disappointed. Just you guys. Okay, so Danny, your favorite new feature in Android Lollipop?
I'm not sure yet. I just received my update this week. I know what I don't like. It's like the white notifications and like more like the dark style. I kind of like all the animations that are in there, although as a developer I might hate them in the future. But as a user I find it kind of cool, all those ripples and animations.
Okay, since we're all developers, what's your favorite new feature as a developer? You know, cool new stuff you can implement in your app? Maybe advanced notifications?
Not sure yet. Can't say. Sorry.
Actually, a colleague of mine is in the process of doing some material design. And one thing I don't like about the whole thing, it doesn't come for free. All these ripples is nice, but it doesn't come for free. You still have to do them mostly yourself, which sucks. But it's easier than before. And now you have a lot of switch cases there. So if before Lollipop, then do this complicated kind of stuff. And in Lollipop, you have just 2 lines of code. But +1 for the non-dark theme. Because it sucks for the battery to light the whole screen if you're browsing through your apps. And the other thing, it's not black. That's the only colorful T-shirt I own, actually. Apart from that, I like the new notifications. I like that you can see on the lock screen your messages, and you can choose not to see them. I like it that it's rootable very fast, because I did the upgrade after I knew that I would be able to root it. What I actually don't like is what they did to tablets. Because on KitKat, on the right side, you had your options. On the left side, you had your notifications. Now you have some slider in the center for everything, like on the phone, which I think is not as nice as it was.
I think for me it's the toolbar. So you're way more dynamic what you can do with that compared to the action bar. So also you can have a toolbar just inside a fragment and don't have to use the action bar for the whole activity anymore. So you can do a bar just for one fragment and for the content there. That's actually, yeah, for the UI a big step, I guess.
For me, I really like as a feature the smart unlock to keep unlocked your phone.
My favorite feature.
Too bad. You have to wait. I think you have time.
done there is like virgin territory, and I'm actually pretty excited to see what is coming up there. I still have to find some time to play with it, but I think it's going to be nice.
So Ben, I guess mainly your job will be to remember what all these guys said negative about the new Lollipop and fix it for the next version, or tell the guys who fix it to fix it.
I usually tells people to go and fix it themselves.
Actually, it is open source. Contribution to it is possible. So, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yes. You told us so many times.
I know. I always said maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, lots of the things that these guys said were like, okay, I want to say this. No, I don't want to repeat this. I don't want to repeat that. I don't want to repeat that. But I really like the smart unlock, which is a really cool feature because you can't just use one device, but several with those, which is really cool. And on the other hand, one thing I really like is that a lot of the APIs are available with the app compats and the versions that they were released straightforward. And I really love that because it is fun, makes it fun for developers, even if you are working under API level 21.
Okay, found something positive that I can mention. I like I will hopefully will like the job scheduler, the new one, because I always normally use like sync manager, but it comes with so much overhead. You need an account manager, you need a sync manager, and all these things around, and it will be much easier with this one now.
Yep.
Okay. I have another question to you and the audience. Has anyone already updated the Target SDK version to 21 in the apps that they release in the App Store? Sorry. Okay, so 2. Nice. Has anyone published an app with Min SDK 21? Ah, okay. Nobody?
I mean, we are starting getting the OTAs these days, so well, probably not a good idea yet. Does it count if you have just started working on something that has Min SDK 21 or Target SDK 21? Because I think most of the people has maybe started playing with stuff, like I think all of us.
Sure, tell us, what is it?
I cannot tell anything.
Okay, so you just wanted to let us know that you're hip and up to date, but you can't talk about it.
Exactly. So
it's like asking Ben what will be, what he's working on, what will be in the next Android version.
I will let Ben use his catchphrase. I cannot use catchphrases that haven't been released yet.
Okay, so maybe a bit of audience participation. Do you guys have any questions you want to ask the speakers in the Android track? There we have one. Can you pass the mic?
Hi. What do you think is missing from the support library? What would you like to see to add in the future?
That this damn bug with Samsung gets fixed. So the support library, the latest app compit isn't, it's crashing on some Samsung devices, but that's actually the fault of Samsung. But yeah, yeah. What? Yeah, right. But yeah, I have some hopes that Chris will find a workaround for that.
Can you quickly explain what the bug is about? In 20 words or less.
I just had a general look at the issue inside the issue track, Android issue tracker. So there's something when you use a menu, compat stuff, some call there or something like that, then it crashes on Samsung.
Yay.
It's basically, apparently Samsung and some other random OEMs, like Chinese and stuff, are including a version of the menu compat class from the app compat into the framework. So it's crashing because it finds 2 classes and it doesn't know which one to load. That is the issue.
Interesting. We should make a big flashy website blaming those vendors for doing stuff like that.
I think you can just go on the Android bug tracker and find There's
yeah,
the
right,
whole list
because
of
there are only two
Yeah.
issues. You can easily find it.
yeah.
Okay, so anything else you guys want in the support library? Or do you want more support libraries? Because, you know, we only have like 7 or so.
Yeah, but then what is in there is really cool. One thing that I don't think would really make sense in the support library, but would be cool to have as an API backported, maybe through Play services or something, would be job scheduler. The thing is, the main advantage of job scheduler is that it's centralized and batching up events and jobs from all the apps in the system. So you cannot just have it inside of the support library because it would still be just for one app. But maybe if it was in Play services or some other cross Android version component, it would be really cool.
Okay. Someone else with a question for the Android speakers?
I think actually the nicest thing would be when everyone would upgrade to lollipops. That's
Oh, okay, so how do we do that?
It takes time, though.
no.
Well, everybody has a Nexus, so
Of
no
course.
Okay, so maybe hardware question. What devices do you guys use as a personal device?
Okay, let me start. I have a Nexus 5. I wanted to buy a Nexus 6 until I heard the price, so I bought the Nexus 9.
As your personal pocket device?
Yeah, actually also Nexus 5, Nexus 7, Nexus 10, and because I have a tablet, I won't buy a Nexus 6.
So as a daily personal driver, Nexus 5, and I will stick to that because the 6 is just too big. And as a tablet, a Nexus 7, but I'm switching to the 9. And as a watch, the Moto. Yeah, and that one for development, because you cannot debug really here.
As a daily usage phone, Nexus 5. I was tempted by the 6, but it seems too big. I still have to see it in real life, so maybe I could change my mind, but it looks too big. Nexus 7 and the LG round watch for wear.
No, wait. I use the Nexus 5 as well. And just like Daniela was, when I saw the Nexus 6 announcement, I was like, yeah, I have to have that one. And then I think I realized at some point it's way too big. It looks amazing. From the looks of it, it's a really nice device, but I'm not seeing that. I will probably get one for development because I'm curious to see how apps are shown on there. Because it's I mean, I guess phablets are becoming officially a thing now, so it's probably something to take care of. But not as a personal device, I would still stick to something that is 5 inches, and then Moto.
I use Android devices.
All of them?
Not at the same time.
Okay, he probably had to sign something saying stuff like that all the time when he started working for
There's
Mike.
actually a hit squad from Google, so if he says anything,
Yeah,
he's
you
gonna
guys
get
can
shot.
see him, but they are up there.
No, actually, to be honest, I rock the 360. It's great. It's fun to use, and there are a lot of watches that are really cool. But the 360 is one that I like most for personal use because I don't have to plug it in. I just put it on the cradle and it lies there overnight. I've got my watch there. It's cool because it is an alarm clock for me then. And I got used to my Nexus 5 for my personal device because it is a fun device and yeah, it's a cool thing.
So I guess that was Nexus 5 for all of you. Who of you uses a Nexus 5? Okay, who doesn't use a Nexus 5? I'm not sure. That's probably half. Right. Okay. So Nexus.
Who doesn't
devices.
use a Nexus?
Oh, that's scary. Okay, what are you guys using that don't use a Nexus 5 but a Nexus? Nexus 4? 1+1 doesn't count as Nexus device, I believe. I mean, pardon? Yes, it counts as device. Yeah, sure. So, are there any other questions in the audience? Yeah, back there. How do we do that? Can you pass?
Hello. What do you think is your vision of smartwatch future should be? That's it.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna skip Ben because he's not allowed to answer probably. So
I've got a personal opinion on those, and
we don't care about it though.
yeah, thanks. It's always. This is why I sit next to this guy, because I really like the way he makes fun of me. Yeah, I really like them, and I think there's a long way to go with those, because there were a couple of times. There was a time when I didn't use one, and I don't really have to pull out my phone that often, because a lot of the information that I get on my phone, I also get on my wrist now, and I really appreciate that. So from a personal standpoint, I think there's more to come.
My answer would be that really quickly, I really like the way Android Wear, the idea of Android Wear. I think it's the right way to go, keeping it simple and glanceable as much as possible. From my previous experience with smartwatches, there was actually something we wanted to do. I used to work for a company that did smartwatches before it was cool. And that was more similar to the Apple Watch. But seeing what Android Wear is, I'm getting convinced that it's the right kind of wearables, because in the end you will still have to have your phone, and you still will want to have your phone with you, at least in the foreseeable future. So I think for now Android Wear is the right answer. So I think it will get better in some way, but this idea of a product, it's probably already there, at least in the intentions. I'm actually pretty curious to see what Apple is going to do and how people will react to it, because I've seen how people has reacted to exactly the same product when others did it, and everybody was like, so I want to see how that goes.
Yeah, having the same experience that Sebastiano had with the previous company, I think that the simplicity and the glanceability of Android Wear is one of the most important things. I'm curious to see, and I think it's really important, the design part. So the let's say similarity to standard watches, and also nice to see watches, not only just a technological device, but also a thing that you actually want to wear because it's nice to see. It's important for me.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the different approaches. So people who don't know smartwatches, actually, they say they want a full-fledged device. They want to do calls on it. They want to do whatever on it. But when you actually use it, you still prefer the phone for that when you see how it works. And actually, it's interesting that Apple, that is usually right about how it's done on the UX side, does a bit different approach with the switch UIs and that stuff. And yeah, I'm not convinced of that approach. I think the contextual information stuff is more the thing to do on the wearables, just like the others mentioned. Yeah, I think they're not going away, but will increase.
Yeah, as you can see, he has two watches, I have none. That's actually for a reason. I have the Samsung watch, borrowed from the company. Yes, I still have it somewhere, I don't know where. No, actually, it was fun to play around with. It was, as a developer, it was fun to do stuff on that. And for my day-to-day life, I didn't want to use it. I think Android Wear products will increase. I like the idea of wearables, but I don't like the smartwatches which are there at the moment, and I don't think the way you use them is the way it will stay. I think that will change. The keep simple approach is a very good one, but after flicking around on my watch through notifications and more notifications, and charging it every day, and the Samsung watch is a pain in the ass to charge. The Moto is better there, but for me the Moto is just too large. This one also. I think it will just take some time until the battery lasts longer, until there are devices which don't try to resemble watches. Because after my last watch broke, I bought a smartphone or a telephone at this time. And since then I never wore anything again. I think there will be other devices. I think there will be better devices, but I think it will take time for the whole thing to get more momentum. And I'm not convinced that the watch will be the one who is the killer thing for that.
I think I'm kind of going in the same direction. So the last smartwatch I bought was the iWatch. Who here had this one? It has Android 1.6 and was 3 years ago. And the battery life was the same as the smartwatches now. Yeah, I think I played around with it for a while, and then it left it somewhere and forgot where the charger is, and now I can't charge it anymore. Because I have the same problem as he has. I haven't been wear a watch in like 20 years, and even smartwatches don't convince me to go back to this. I think wearables definitely will be the thing. I'm not sure how they will look like. I don't know, maybe it's a ring, or I don't know, body modification, you have a display somewhere, I don't know. But I guess the typical thing, you have your phone in your pocket and you will use it all the time, that will go away very soon. And yeah, let's see what people think. I have a Google Glass, but it was the same, like it's kind of cool, but I don't use it on a daily basis. Let's see what's coming up there.
So I guess that's four out of 6 are using smartwatches, right? What about the audience? Who of you is using Android Wear? Okay, a handful. No using. Okay, Android Wear. So who has a smartwatch that is not an Android Wear? Oh, 1, 2, 3. Don't be shy. Okay. So I have multiple of those too. I collect smartwatches at home. They collect dust, yeah, but no, it can only use one. Yeah, I actually think Android Wear is one of the. You can use 2. Okay, you can, but you don't necessarily gain, from that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably very useful. Okay. So
that's for you, that you don't need always to turn your head when you get some notification,
okay.
right?
Well, Google Glass would be good for that, right? Because it turns with your head. But none of you is wearing Google Glass, and I believe Sasha also has Google Glass, but he hasn't been using it today. So glass is probably not the future, at least not the way it's now. Do you guys have any other questions? Yes.
So just on glass, really. Would you agree that glass developing is dying out? Or stopping? Or if you've even started?
I have no idea. Never. No, no, that's not true. I've done one app for glass. I was actually at a really nice hackathon that Google organized in London, and it was fun. Thing is, I think with glass at the moment there are 2 main problems. First is that it's outside of US and UK, you cannot get it. And second is it's not a consumer product, so it's like still on paper if you want to get the traction. I don't think it's dying out. I just think it still has to take off.
There is also, for me, a third problem, which is this one, with the Google Glasses, it's a pain to use it when you are wearing prescription lenses, or you use contact lenses, but for me it's just a pain.
But not anymore. I mean, you can have the ones.
You have your own, yes, but you have to add another layer of lenses, so it's too much for me.
So generally with Google Glass, I don't think it's a product that's that people will use every day as a private device. But I think for professional use cases, it's actually pretty valid. For example, I don't know, everyone who has to do work with his hands and needs to read manuals at the same time to do his work or something like that. So he can see the information right about there when he does the work actually with his hands. I think that's a valid use case for it.
Yeah, I totally agree on that one. I think it has found a niche that was different than you immediately thought in the beginning, which is this enterprise market, and there are so many prototypes, app for warehouses and things like this. I think this is definitely something where some kind of glass will stay. As a consumer, I hope it will merge with Android Wear somehow and in a different format come back, because I like my glass.
So I have two questions, and you can pick. Yeah, it's me. So one is more negative. It's also me. What is the most frustrating part of an Yeah, I know. He's not allowed to say anything negative.
It can be positive.
So what is the most frustrating thing in the life of an Android developer for you? And the other one, if you would be more positive, what would be the favorite thing that should get Android Wear support? Can be anything from your life.
The negative thing as an Android developer, totally Samsung. Especially some tablets with 4.2.2, they are just no.
Although you must admit that they helped make it the major. I mean, I don't love them, not at all, but still, they pushed them to the market share there we are now.
Well, that's not a point for me as a developer.
That's true. Well, you have a job to do that.
For me, I hope I don't hurt someone here. For me, it's designers with iOS devices. As a developer, that's very, very horrible to explain someone that something has to look different on Android. It gets better, but we still see the issues now and then, and a lot of times where the app is first created on iOS, but that gets more less frequent, but still, if you get something from a designer, it's usually something you would do on iOS or macOS. The other thing is not rare, but what I would like to see for personal reason is the contact lens from Google. Yes, that would be the most awesome product ever.
I agree, totally agree on the designer thing. Not this. Okay, you get an iOS screen, but people still think we do something across all platforms like the same way. So we have like the minimum feature set, and they don't use the full capabilities of Android for a lot of things and a lot of apps. That's kind of annoying and frustrating as a developer. The Android Wear one, I don't know. Shoes with Android Wear would be cool. I don't know what I would do with it, but
shoes. Interesting. I want my washing machine to be Wear enabled, so I get a notification when the washing machine is done. That would be nice.
And maybe navigation on the front part.
Navigation. Oh, so Wear inside the shoe. I see. Okay. There was another question.
I just want to go to the design issue, as you put it. Basically, one thing that is possible with material design is that this is a language that can be uniquely spoken between developers and designers and product managers and all people that are involved in a software project. So what I experienced is that it really helps to bring together this language so that you don't have to have somebody speak yours, but all people that are involved are trying to speak the same language, which makes it a lot easier because designers don't really care if we developers use a view pager or not. We don't really care as developers about some parts of the designer's life. But we all care for one thing, and that is creating a great app, creating a great user interface, creating a great user experience for the people that are actually using what we put our heart and our time to. So this is why I think there will be changes that if you get into this one language and bring it together there, then this can be sooner than later be resolved.
Okay, are there any other questions? We still have time left. Okay.
Thank you. From your experience across the projects and the companies that you work with developing apps, can you maybe think of the one feature that you built into the app that increased engagement and active usage in the app, in the apps that you've worked in?
First of all, I have no idea. No, really, I don't think there is a silver bullet. It really depends on the app, and I would say that the thing that, in my opinion, and in my personal experience as a user, drives adoption, and most importantly, retention of users, is having a really nice app. Meaning, it's not like you do implement a daydream and then magically downloads duplicate or something. It's like if you keep your application fresh, as in delightful to use. I think delightful is the right word here. If as a user I actually like using the app, I don't need to use the app, I like to use the app, then that will keep me going back to it. If I can think of an example, I don't know, things like completely unnecessary but still pleasant to use Swarm, for example. I mean, there's no point in using Swarm at all, but I still do it because it's nice and I like it. Yeah. You get the passwords for Wi-Fi in places, that's a good thing from Swarm and Foursquare. No one else.
Maybe can't think of a single thing, but I'm always surprised when we did like user tests or something and you watch users using your app. And you're always like surprised and sometimes frustrated because why don't they see the fucking button that is just in front of them or something, and really learn how your users use your app, and this will make your app a great app, and like this lean principle of like build, measure and learn and always try to improve. And often the things that you think will be the best and feature in your app and drive the most traffic, people don't even care. Maybe they don't find it, but that's something you have to be aware of. Normally you don't know it up front.
So I really like the two approaches here, but also as a developer, it is important to act on some of these things. So there are lots of good talks related to how to do Android in a good way, how to make it a good experience for the users, how to be basically magical and awesome, so that you keep the people to come back. So there's a lot of stuff there on the IO channel for on YouTube. So definitely go through that if you have time. If you have a lazy evening, don't go and watch stupid television stuff that's done there. Go and watch something as a brain teaser and watch something in there.
Okay, one more question from me. Your favorite tool or library to make your life easier as a developer? Preferably not your own, just saying.
I didn't write Event Bus.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But that's my favorite.
totally go for support libraries.
Sorry, not from Google.
I would say IntelliJ as a platform is amazing, and then Google did the right thing by like adopting it. So this is not about Google, it's about the IntelliJ guys, which are awesome. And then the Google guys as well, but that's not all of them. You might be one of them or not.
Maybe as a library, retrofit, I would say. This is like my favorite library. I don't have to care about opening HTTP connections, and if result is still 200 or something, I just write one file. It's like an interface file with my requests, and everything is done. That's how it should be for REST APIs.
Yeah, there's a +1 for Event Bus, which is just a great library and a simple way to do things. For the IntelliJ, Sebastiano, for the IntelliJ, I like it that they at least try to fix the things they break in the Android Studio. Was the last, not the last update, not the release candidate 1. The release candidate 1 tried to install the SDK today for me, even if I had an existing installation and was just upgrading. That's why I couldn't look into my code during before the talks, because it said, okay, I want to download 2.3 gigabytes of data, and I didn't want to do that on the Wi-Fi here. I think
it's the problem that you didn't import your settings, right?
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I did. There are some people on Google Plus complaining about exactly that.
Yep.
Basically, it's not downloading the thing, but it's copying the SDK again. And more annoying, a lot of errors show in the last versions of the IntelliJ, telling you, oh, I can't find this method called hashcode or equals as the basic object method. Yeah.
So, firstly, it's a canary build. Canary builds are not absolutely stable, and this is basically something. The way that Android Studio has evolved is amazing, in my eyes, and I can see that there are pain points that are actively being fixed, and I try not to upgrade stuff when I need anything there later on. So
I had a developer on my team who's on the beta channel, so we had to update. Actually, I think I'm the only person in the world who never had problems with Eclipse. It was never crashing for me. It was always fast. It was always running. And
I don't think that is the only issue.
I agree. You're probably the only one in the world.
Yes. Everyone else has problems. I never.
That is not even the main issue with Eclipse. It's wrong.
And the other thing is, I do like Ant. I'm probably the only person in the world who likes this.
We have to check speakers next time for DevFest.
Yeah, so it's probably the last time I'm here. So hi guys. No, actually, the problem with Gradle is it's doing a great job, but it's doing a lot of the things behind the scenes. And if the Gradle plugin changes, you can run into problems, which just means going to forums, checking things, where Ant is a little bit more evolved and a little bit easier to structure and define.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that I really, really love Android Studio, and yeah, I love Android Studio. That I was saying. I think they're iterating at a breakneck pace, and they're adding a lot of stuff at every release. So I guess, I mean, it's annoying as a developer when stuff breaks, but at the same time, I think if you're updating on Canary and stuff breaks, then it's like you could kind of expect it. I would actually say it's amazing that on Canary is that stable and performing. I only have love for IntelliJ and Android Studio. So.
Is there anyone on stage who actively using Eclipse for production still? So that's kind of my point that I want to make. I think although there are a bunch of issues, and it's quite of annoying that you lose a production date just to fix a simple, I don't know, a hack you did for the Gradle plugin or something like that, because you want to integrate something that they didn't provide in the first place. But still, a lot of professional developers moved over already to Android Studio just because it's fixing so many pain points of the old toolchain. And that starts with moving from Eclipse to IntelliJ, which is just plain awesome in the support of code writing. You write just less boilerplate, and Gradle gives you so many more options. We moved the whole tool chain we use to that, and we couldn't do the stuff we do now with Maven that easily. And for that matter, please don't. So I don't want to ever go back. Just kill this. Nobody.
Well,
let it die. Let it go.
Will you please sit here instead of him?
No. Yeah, I guess
You're
Stefan will rather go back to PHP programming than back to Eclipse and Ant, right?
But only in WebStorm, which is also by the JetBrains.
Okay, is there anything you guys want to talk or give as experience to the audience? Like, don't use Eclipse ever again? No, actually, that's not true. Eclipse can be nice, but don't use Ant ever again for building Android projects? Something like that?
Friends don't let friends use Eclipse.
Did you write a song?
Nothing? Like, use more open source libraries? Write more open source libraries?
One thing I would like to see more support for as an open source project is Robolectric, because he got it to run on IntelliJ as on Android Studio. For me, it broke some versions ago, and we didn't have the time to fix it again. I would love to have just unit test support on Android Studio and Android. That's one of the most important things, I think.
And that means JUnit without emulators.
Yeah, of course.
I agree, it's a bit of a pain. The thing is, the way we do it most of the time is that we try to keep all the core logic inside of a separate pure Java module, and JUnit test it. So, because the thing with Robolectric is, it's nice when it works, but it's not easy to get it to work, and sometimes it just has issues all of itself that are not reflected in production units. So it's the way I see it, Robolectric most of the times is a bit of a risk to use, because you never know what's going on in there, and it's nice, but it's basically a huge hack around testing. So it might work or it might not work. You cannot know.
That's why I said I want to see official support for unit testing there. And the other thing is, what you said is true if you're using the Android classes. But sometimes you have methods in your code which are not using the Android class, but you have to instantiate the activity because it's just there. It's inside of the activity. And I also want to test that code. For the pure Android code, I can live with Espresso, but I just have to have the ability to test in a fast way my Java code and even the Java parts of my Android code.
I can only say, yeah, I agree. It looks like there is maybe something going on, or might be something going on, because the guys in the tools team at Google said more than once in Google Plus they are aware of the pain points. So I hope, I don't know, but I sincerely hope there is something going on. Don't look at him. He cannot say anything, so I'll just not have the temptation to ask. I hope there's something going on. There's a lot of really good work being done. The whole Lollipop release, the app compat, it's amazing and stuff. And now we just need to have proper testing support. And I think they know that, so I hope they will do something.
Okay, so we are running out of time, so I guess we'll wrap that up.
One thing I want to say is from the community perspective, stay an awesome community and continue to contribute and do stuff together, and keep the exchange between minds active and do stuff there, because this is what makes this community so special, what made it enjoyable for me over all these years, and what made it really hard for me to leave Berlin behind and go to a different city. So please continue doing that. This is really awesome.